All right, in the last video we did our nav bar here with the little drop down and stuff, and we have our header, we have our icons. Now we're going to work on the actions section. So let's go directly under the header here, and let's say actions. And I'm going to give this a section with an ID of actions, and I want to add padding on the top and bottom. We'll do 4, and also margin on the bottom, so we want to do MB-4, and then it's going to have a light background, so BG-light. Okay, and then in here let's put our container and our row, and we're going to basically have 4 3-column divs. So we'll do call-MD3, and inside here let's put a link with the class of btn. We'll do btn-primary, and let's do btn-block to make it block level and extend all the way across. So this is actually going to open a modal. I'm just going to put a hash here, and we want to add an extra attribute of data-toggle and specify that this will open a modal. We also need a target, so we want to do data-target, and we're going to set this to a target of hash add post modal. And then inside here, inside this a tag, let's put an icon. We'll do FAS and then FA-plus, and let's just say add post. Okay, so that's the first button. We're going to have 3 of these, so let's copy this call MD3 and paste in 2 more. And the second one here is going to be add category. Now in this theme, basically we're going to have post categories and user resources, and posts will be blue, the primary. Category I want to be green, so I'm going to do success here. And then posts, users, so we'll say add user. These are going to be yellow, so let's say warning, like that. And let's go back to the category and change the modal target to add. Let's do add category modal, and I'm just going to leave the plus icon for all of these. So this one here, this will be add user modal. Okay, and that should do it for at least the buttons. So if we save that and take a look, that's what it should look like. Okay, so let's go ahead and add the modals. Now modals I like to do at the bottom of everything. So let's just say modals, and then we'll go down here and we'll say add post modal. So we'll have a div with the class of modal, and I also want it to fade. And then let's give the ID, make sure the ID matches the target, which we said add post modal, like that. Okay, and then inside here we want our modal dialog, of course. And I'm going to make this a large modal, so we can use modal-LG. And we want our content. Inside the content, we're going to have the header, so modal-header. And I want this to be blue. Remember, the posts are going to basically be branded with the blue UI. So let's do BG primary, and also make sure the text is white. So this is our header. Inside the header, we'll have an H5 with the class of modal title, and this is just going to say add post. Okay, underneath the H5, we want our close button. So this is going to have a class of close. And in order for it to actually close, it needs a data dismiss attribute. And that's going to be set to modal. Okay, and inside the button, we're just going to put a span tag with the character ampersand, times, and semicolon. So that'll give us that little X. Now, we want to go under the modal header, which ends right here, the div under the button, and let's put in our modal body. So in the modal body is where we want our form. So let's say form, we don't need an action. Inside the form, we're going to have a form group. And I'm going to do a label. This is going to be for the title of the post. So we'll say title. And then an input. And we're going to give this a class of form control. Okay, and let's do another form group. And inside here, this is basically going to be the category select. So let's do a label, and we'll say for a category. And then we want to select, which will also have a class of form control. Whoops. Let's see. So we don't need a name and an ID since this isn't actually going anywhere. Inside the select, let's do some options. So we'll put an option tag here. Let's see. Actually, you know what? We'll just copy this down. We'll do 2, 3, 4 of these. So the first one, the value is not important since we're not really submitting it. But for this one, let's say web development. And let's say tech gadgets. And for this category, let's do business. And let's do health and wellness. And of course, you guys can use something different if you want. So that'll be our select. Now we're also going to have an image upload. I'm going to use a custom file input. So let's do another form group. And we want to put a label, we'll say for image, and for this we'll say upload image. Under the label, we're going to have a div with the class of custom-file. Okay, remember we did this back in the sandbox. I think we did this in the, I think we did this in one other theme as well. I can't remember. But we're going to put an input. It's going to have a class of custom-file-input. And let's also give it an ID of image. And the type is not going to be text, it's going to be file. Okay, under the input is where we're going to put another label. This is basically, it's going to say choose file. We're going to give this a special class of custom file label. And we'll say for image. And inside this label, we'll say choose file. Okay, and then under this div right here, let's put in a small tag with the class of form text. Okay, so we can put like helper text. I'm also going to do text muted to make it a little lighter. And then we're just going to say max size 3 megabytes. Okay, so that should be our image class, or I'm sorry, image field. Now under the form group here, we're going to put one more form group, and this is going to be for the body. And we're actually going to use an editor, a WYSIWYG editor, which I'll show you how we can implement in a second. But for now, it's going to be a text area, and then we'll add a script that'll turn it into an editor. So let's do label. We'll say for body, and we'll say body. Then we'll put a text area. And for the name, I'm going to say editor1. And then we don't need... Yeah, we don't need any of this stuff. We just want a class of form control. Okay, and then let's do the modal footer, which is going to go under the body. So let's figure out where the ending modal body div is, which is right here, and we're going to do modal dash footer. And in here, let's do a button, and let's do a class of btn primary, and I'm just going to add a data dismiss so it actually closes it. So data dismiss modal, and we'll say save changes. Okay, so let's save it and let's check it out. So if we go here and we click add post, we get a nice little modal. We have this nice looking upload image thing. Now the body, this I want to turn to a WYSIWYG editor. If you don't know what WYSIWYG stands for, it's what you see is what you get. So that way you can put like headings, and you can bold things, just like if you were in like a WordPress backend or something like that, kind of like a Microsoft Word interface. And what we're going to use for this is something called CK Editor. And there's a lot of different editors you can use, but this is by far the easiest to implement. It's also pretty powerful. So we're just going to search for the CDN. So we'll say CDN CK Editor. And we'll go here. And then all we have to do is include this script. So I'm going to grab that, and we're going to put that down here right below the Bootstrap script. And then what we have to do is we'll go back to this page. Remember we gave the text area a name of editor 1. All we have to do is just put this inside some script tags, CK editor replace, and then whatever name we gave it. So this is pretty simple to implement. So let's grab that. Let's go down to our script tags under the year, and we'll paste that in. So it's basically going to look for this here, and it should just turn it into an editor. So let's save. Let's go back, and let's click Add Post, and there we go. We have a full WYSIWYG editor. So we can type stuff here, and we can bold it, we can italicize it, we can do different things. We can change the styles, and we can make headings. So this is really powerful and very simple to implement. All right, so that is it for the add post. Now we have the add category and add user, which are pretty simple. These are easier than the add post because we don't have the file thing, we don't have the select and the editor. So, and we can actually just copy. For now, we'll just copy the entire post modal, just so we have that markup. We don't have to retype everything. So let's copy this whole thing here and paste that in. We'll change this to add category modal. We're going to change the ID to add category modal. And this is going to be a very simple modal, or a very simple form, I should say. Basically, it's just going to have a title. That's all categories are going to have. So we're going to go down to the body and the form, and let's just keep this first one, this title, and get rid of every other form group. So get rid of everything down to the body form group. And then I'm also going to change the background. I'm going to change it from primary to success, so it's green. And I think that should do it. So let's try it. We'll save. Let's click add category, and there we go. We just have a title. All right, the user is going to be a little more, it's going to be a couple more fields in the category, but still not as bad as the post. So what we'll do is copy the category modal and paste that in, and let's say add user modal. We want to change this to add user modal, change the title, and then users are going to be branded. That resource will be branded as yellow, so we're going to use warning here. And remember, you can use Sass in any of these themes if you want. Just do exactly what we did in the Mazooks. So for fields, let's do a name. So we'll change this to name, and let's copy the form group. And under name, we're going to do email. And we can change this to email too. And underneath the email, we're going to have a password. If I can spell. And the type will be password. And then underneath that, we want a confirm password. So we'll say confirm password. We'll call this field password 2, and the type will be password as well. Okay, and I think that should do it. So let's take a look. add user, we get name, email, password, confirm password. You know what, let's change the button colors as well. So let's change this to green and the other one to yellow. So for user, we'll change it to BTN warning. And for category, we'll change it to BTN success. All right, so that's going to be it for this video, guys. In the next video, we're going to start to work on the we're just finishing the dashboard, so we'll have like our table of posts, and we'll have our little blocks over here that tell us how many users we have, how many posts, and all that stuff. All right, and we'll get to that next.